What a fantastic day it is. Almost 90 degrees. The 4th of July, Independence Day 2003. Wonderful day to be alive as I drove here from my home in Mooresville. It made my heart fill up to see all the flags and even with kids with banners on their bikes. And I saw one guy that had about 24 flags taped to his truck this morning. I love it. We're trying the 4th of July Independence Day Parade in Plattsburgh from a very different perspective. We're starting where they start, at the Field House on Upper Ruger Street in Plattsburgh with my friend Bruce Carlin. How are you, my friend?
Great, Gordy. How are you?
What a day.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Very nice.
I'm sure that a lot of our viewers have no idea what your role is in this parade today and in so many other things that Plattsburgh does. Talk a little about it.
Well, our company is Media Central, and we are located in downtown Plattsburgh, and one of the things that we do, we're an advertising agency and a production company. We do video and audio production. And one of the things that we do, needing to be diverse to be successful sometimes in Plattsburgh, we do special events. And a few years back, we started with the Mayor's Cup and then started with the 4th of July. And we have a contract with the city of Plattsburgh to produce both of these events.
It's been fun, hasn't it?
It's a lot of fun. When you see the amount of joy in people's faces and you think about all the tough things that people face day to day, week to week, when you got a chance to do something that's really nothing but fun, you know, for the other people. It's not always fun for us, but, you know, you got to keep a smile.
Once in a while, I'll hear somebody say, when you see one parade, you've seen them all. When you see one fireworks display, you've seen them all. That just ain't true here in the city of Plattsburgh.
Nope. I'm always surprised by the way people have different creativity to create the floats and to put the vehicles in, and it's great. It's great. We've got the biggest. I think this will probably be our biggest.
Do you really?
Yeah. As far as the number of pre-registered, it's the biggest, and we limited to a couple of vehicles for the emergency vehicles. So.
Well, when I walked in behind us, I saw a dump truck and a Humvee, so I figured we got it made. They're side by side. 4th of July is always a lot of fun. Plattsburgh has always had a 4th of July tradition with its parade, with its various events. I can remember the 4th of July 1964 when you were only about
4.
And Louis Satchel-Mouth Armstrong was here to be the Grand Marshal of our 4th of July parade, and for me that was about as good as it gets. But I've seen a lot of great parades since then. It's is this the first year they've started here at the Field House?
Nope, this is the third year.
Third year?
Yeah. We've I know you guys have been down at the end of the parade, so
most of the time. Calvin says, well, let's go to this end, talk to some people, find out what it's like to organize the parade. Generally, this part of the event is absolute chaos. So I imagine there'll be a little pulled hair before we are through here.
Yeah. But it's, you know, we do as much as we can. You always have people that either forgot to register or something happened and their float is twice as big, and you got to react. I mean, it's just the way you got to do it.
We should mention, of course, that this is a salute to the red, white, and blue. What else would you have for a theme of the 4th of July? So it's a pretty wide open theme for people to build their floats this year, isn't it?
Yeah, we thought that with the patriotic fever in the air, that would be a great way to salute the holiday.
Now, I can recall a few 4th of July parades where the weatherman did not smile on the red, white, and blue.
2 years ago, we had a
baby.
It was a big rainstorm.
The skies opened up.
Yeah,
we were running for cover. Calvin was trying to put something around this that little bonnet that goes around this camera. But guess what? We still had a good parade.
Yeah.
This year it's perfect. It's between 87 and 89 degrees, just in case you didn't know. Probably about 96 where we're standing.
Yeah, right out in the sun.
So I do have my little bottle of water to help me through. So we're just going to mosey around and talk to folks and salute this great group of patriotic people as they celebrate Independence Day 2003.
Well, thank you so much for coming out, and thank you guys for all the great coverage. You know, you guys are the real PBS in my book. You're the real public broadcasters.
You're very kind to say that. In case you didn't realize it, we love it. Just like you do, Bruce. It gets in your blood.
Well, it's amazing the number of people that, whenever anything that I'm associated with is covered by you guys, people tell me, and they sit and watch it for hours. So it's great. It's great testimony.
Calvin's the man. He's got that dip in his shoulders. He's been clicking cameras since 1983. 20 years this year. He celebrated his anniversary. So we're going to have fun today, and you are too. And thanks a lot for everything you do, Bruce.
Thanks, Gordy. Thanks, Calvin.
Just thought I'd let you know that the theme this year is a salute to the red, white, and blue. Just as the camera pans around, see how many of the stars and stripes you can count. On and on and on and on everywhere. And if our audience were 1/3 as patriotic as Calvin and myself, then we'd have a pretty big splash for the 4th of July. I would like to tell you that at the very front of the parade is a gentleman and a lady whom we've interviewed numerous times and talked about even more than that, and that is Angela Florence and Clyde Lewis. What better combination to have at the forefront of this parade? Clyde Lewis, who almost single-handedly brought Plattsburgh Air Force Base here, one of the most patriotic people, unabashed patriotism, and Angela Florence, who has fought so hard for the missing in action. And those people have been lost in the various wars and haven't been found. She's just terrific, and she's carried that very special banner almost everywhere, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we see it during the course of the parade. We have wonderful old vehicles, classic vehicles. We have various floats. Calvin and I were happy to go and cover the Antique and Classic Car Show sponsored by the Chamber recently, and we saw a lot of great old vehicles, but it's fun to see them here. Some of these vehicles I've seen before, and they've been in parades over and over and over again. I see floats way back there covered with balloons. We'll be lucky if that one doesn't take off, Calvin. While we're here, I understand there are some musical activity going on in downtown Plattsburgh, and even while the parade starts and leaves from the field house on Ruger Street, there'll be musical activity downtown. There'll be other musical activity this evening, from rock and roll to reggae music. There will be fireworks at dusk across the Saranac River from the monument. You can see that units are forming here, and units are also forming on the perimeter roads for the Plattsburgh State Fieldhouse. Calvin, did you cover the FISU games way back when? Were you around?
No, that's before my hometown cable time.
Before your hometown cable time. It was kind of classic. It brought a lot of high-class people here, but if you had to count how many VIPs and people who believed they were VIPs that you've interviewed over the years, it would number in the thousands. And that was very nice for Bruce Carlin to mention that, because it's fun to be at a place like this. And not just Plattsburgh on the 4th of July. You've covered literally hundreds of parades, right, in the last 20 years?
It seems like within this weekend I'll be doing that. I was in Norwood, as I mentioned to you earlier off camera, or Norwood last night for their first ever reunion concert.
Oh, tell me about
Norwood Brass Firemen's Band.
Oh man, that must have been wild.
It was everything you could hope for. Thousands of people were in the Village Green, and it was just a great experience to be there. And I'm not sure how it'll shake out, if this will be on before or after we show that, but that Norwood concert is the type of thing we'll pull out more than once to show the viewers, because it's a unique thing. It's the first ever, and hopefully it won't be the last, and they'll keep doing it on an annual or semi-annual basis. And earlier today I was in Alberg, Vermont for their 4th of July parade. Their 4th of July parade is always on the 4th at 11 a.m. When I leave here tonight, I'll be going to Rouse's Point for a concert. Tomorrow I'll be in Malone for their 11 a.m. 4th of July celebration parade. Sunday I'll be in Lion Mountain at noon for their parade, and I'll tape a baseball game between Altona and Lion Mountain before I leave, and then Sunday night in Rouse's Point for the 4th of July celebration parade.
Spare time is not a phrase that you've invented. I see our bateau, Le Bateau, is here from the Battle of Plattsburgh. They'll be here. I'm just looking all around, and you wonder how they can get all these people in order in time, because in real time we're taping this at 6 minutes after 4. The parade theoretically gets underway at 5 o'clock, and our good friend Jack LeDuc, who's only a shadow of his former self thanks to the Atkins diet, drove through and say, how long will it take him to get downtown? We guessed a half an hour. Actually, he's right behind us. He was just pulling out, but I imagine it'll take about a half an hour to get down there. Clinton County Fair is represented with the their fair coming in at Saturday, July 26th, just the day that we get back from our camping vacation at Coles Creek. This year, John Michael Montgomery. We've covered a few county fairs in our day, and you've covered far more than I.
Yes, and Saturday, July 26th, I'll be in Moira for their 200th anniversary celebration. One of your hometowns is celebrating 200 years, and we're going to do a little history on there and tie in their 200th anniversary parade at the same time.
Yeah, I've been discussing that with my wife today, and there is a possibility that she'll convince me that I should come back from camping a day early to be there, because you've tested me over and over by telling me how many of my old friends are going to show up.
They've been invited, and
Oh yeah.
well, I talked to Linda Denoyer. She said, make sure Gordy knows. So.
Oh boy, it's a lot of fun. I didn't know if we were supposed to get any rain today. I didn't even look at the forecast. I'm such an optimist, but looks like we're going to be fine this year.
Yeah, though we've had showers when I look at the Alberg Parade about noon. It started to pour on my way
Oh,
home.
no kidding.
Yeah,
We didn't see a drop here.
I went by the North Country Golf Course. All the golfers were were seeking shelter. Then by the time I got home, there wasn't a drop falling. So just a quick shower, but it was a heavy shower.
Right across from us, I see ARC, the Advocacy and Resource Center, will be represented. Of course, the Peru Fire Department with their blue and white, and behind us, Mooresville Fire Department, which is located a scant 50 feet from my house. Have you ever covered any of the firemen's races that they used to have?
I did one, and I hadn't seen any since then, since it was held up at the Crate Center. And
They don't do it much here anymore, but
No,
boy,
it
they
was-
used to, and it
yeah,
was
there
so
was,
much fun with souped-up vehicles. And
it was in the early 90s, as I recall.
yeah, well, the reason I mention that is because I like to talk about volunteer firemen, and we've seen some very good races over the years. Mooresville Fire Department is just loaded with trophies, and they those Fireflies, as I believe they called themselves, were a bunch of young guys who were in very, very good shape and who just took great pride in competing. And many of the other departments too, and up in St. Lawrence County, where they have wonderful parades, and a lot of the school marching bands, as you know, get into the parades.
That was
so
a beautiful parade I saw in Messina last year.
great. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, Hugh Heron was the last one that I know of that put on one of those
field days.
field days with the firemen actually competing, and it was quite an event. And I'm glad I got one on tape, but I'm not aware of any since then.
Not too many here in the North Country, I don't believe, but it's an awful lot of fun to be here. I see stock cars. There's quite a cross section. There are political floats. Of course, what would an Independence Day parade be without all the politicians, right?
That's right.
One of them has got one person who's running for town of Plattsburgh supervisor who's got so many balloons that I wouldn't be surprised if it took away. So there'll be a little advertising in this parade here today.
And what can happen sometimes with these county-wide candidates is that they can't get around. I know when the Moore's Forks parade was going on, several of the people there were rushing to another parade. I'm not sure if that was Katyville or Peru, but they were heading out to another parade that same day. So sometimes you have competing parades, and people got to be two places at once.
North Country politics at its best. It's trying to decide what chicken dinner you're going to go to. How many glad hands there can be in the course of an election. And this is one of those great areas where the politicians still knock on your doors and you get a chance, and most people let them in. I've talked to many people who've run, some very unsuccessfully, who said the best part of the campaign was just meeting and greeting people, and actually in other towns they'd slam the door in your face, and here they invite you in and
Offer you a piece of apple pie.
and you tell them what you think they want to hear.
And make sure that they don't talk to the guy who told something else, right?
Yeah, you got that right. I have to tell you that my memories of North Country parades go back prior to the parades here in Plattsburgh. Of course, I mentioned Louis Armstrong in 1964 when I'd already been here for 3 years. The first parade I ever saw in Clinton County was the Rouse's Point Parade. It has been and probably always will be a premier event around the 4th of July, isn't it?
Definitely. It's Always one of the biggest, one of the best. They're changing the parade route this year because of reconstruction on half of the route on Maple Street. But it's always a fantastic event. It's always held on the Sunday, and it's something that you have to go to appreciate, and you have to appreciate the number of people that line that village street.
It's amazing. You don't get there early, you don't get a spot.
Yep.
It's always been that way.
Yep. Maybe not, definitely not this year, but coming year, what I want to do is probably talk to the parade organizers and jump in a vehicle at the head of the parade, and then ride through the parade route, and then jump off, and then tape the parade from the reviewing stand. But I think it'd be interesting to get the crowd in the parade as part of the coverage.
It's an awful lot of fun, and I know I've been at the front of a couple of parades and have been honored to do so, and it's so much fun to be there and be in the parade and actually be one of the people that the folks are waving at, and you get a chance to wave back. Things change a little bit. Most of the new parades don't allow people to throw candy anymore. I've been trying to figure that out because I can't remember anybody who ever really got hurt trying to retrieve candy, but I guess that was the point, right?
I've seen so many scary situations taping that where kids just
jump
don't
right out
pay
in front.
attention. I've never seen anybody hit by lightning, but there are more people killed by lightning than there are
So
by
they don't throw
hurricanes.
the candy anymore. They hand it. They walk up and down.
A lot of them are still doing that, still throwing it, but I'm a big advocate for not throwing it, because when you see these little 2-year-olds run out underneath a big truck tires, it puts your heart in your throat.
You convinced me.
And something they started here, as you recall, 2 years ago, when we were downtown, and the guys with their racing cars, not these cruisers here, but the race cars that they race in airborne and so on.
I recall that.
They'd be squealing their tires, they'd be 10 feet in back of somebody else, and they'd step on their gas pedal and their brake at the same time. You had all these kids roaming around. Well, what they started last year was all race cars have to be in a trailer and towed now. No longer doing that.
Well, that probably makes sense.
And another thing that I know they started it in Moore's Forks, and I think they're thinking about it in Rouse's Point, is when the fire engines and all those rescue vehicles go through, no whistles, no sirens. You can flash your lights, but no sirens, because when a real emergency happens,
I never even thought of that.
People don't understand it's a real emergency. They think it's just part of the show.
Yep.
And
I never thought of that.
And last year, just before the parade, they had a fire, and during the parade, they had an ambulance call. They had to go down the parade route backwards, and so you want people, when they hear that siren, to know it's an emergency and not just somebody hitting their horn or their whistle. It's important, I think, to get the fire departments to cooperate on that.
Interesting time of the year here in the city and in the county of Clinton, because followed right on the heels of our 4th of July celebration, which is now on the 4th of July, comes the Mayor's Cup, with a huge number of activities coming right up starting next week, right?
Yeah, it starts, this is a Friday. The Mayor's Cup events start on Sunday, so there's not much room to catch your breath, and I'm sure the folks at Media Central are out straight for about 2 weeks, not counting all the preparation, but just running those back-to-back events is going to be strenuous.
Yeah, I can remember the very first Mayor's Cup and how that turned out, and that certainly has changed throughout the years, but the focus is still on the beautiful races on Lake Champlain. We're having a good time celebrating Independence Day 2003.
Oh, that's where it's coming from. Oh. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was "This land is your land, America," or the Star-Spangled Banner. But I heard this buzzing sound in my ears as I walked by this float.
Music to your ears.
It was music to my ears. Hi, Nancy Church. How
Hi,
are
Gordy.
you?
I'm great. How are you?
I've looked up to you for years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
I want to know how warm that outfit is.
Oh, well, if you put aluminum foil on your food and then, put it in the sun, you'll know how.
That gives me a good idea what it's like. Tell me what the float is all about.
Well, we have a bunch of people who worked very hard on this float, and Hattie Fuller, Joan and Jim Fleury, and Helen Chauvin, and Wolf and Barb Mattis. And the whole idea of this float is we have stars and stripes, and the stars are all our Kiwanis projects that we've done over the years.
I love it.
So,
And you've done many.
and we're very proud of it.
These are our building blocks because we build.
See that, Joni? Isn't that beautiful?
That's it. Well,
That's what we do.
yeah. Oh, Jim is putting up the flag.
Putting the flag up for us.
Kiwanis picnic tables for the farmers market.
That's right.
Yes.
Council on the Arts, scholarships. I'm looking around.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Literacy challenge.
The senior picnic.
Salvation Army.
And of course our K is up here that went through the hospital pond.
Oh, we gotta go. Thanks, Nancy. Let's go see the K.
350 pounds of K.
There were a lot of people saying, "Get the K out of here."
Donated by Jefford Steel.
And that really is, Jim. That's a heavy bugger, isn't it?
Yes.
I forgot how much that thing weighed, but I saw it on the ice there.
Yeah, we probably, I hope to be an annual event and it'd be much more. There was a lot of success this year. We raised $4,000.
Did you really?
The hospital got a third, and Kiwanis got the rest to use in their project. So we were pretty happy with that.
I think it would be wonderful next year if we just weld a seatbelt to that thing and tie Jim Fleury right on it. And
I've heard of him, and he needs to be tied down to something.
But it finally sank down through the ice, and there was a loud cheer. And I think in Vermont they did a similar kind of thing over there to
They've
try
been
to
doing
figure.
it for years.
Have they?
And we hope to do the same thing.
That's a good idea. Where did that get welded? Was that at Jeffords?
Jeffords.
Was it?
That's donation. That's a
They
donation.
donated it?
Yeah, you
We'll
know.
give them a good shot.
Do I have to tell you how North Country people treat us here when we go out fundraising and stuff? I'll tell you.
It's amazing, isn't it, Jim?
We do our, you used to be part of it, the Wiry Radio Day. This year we raised $18,000.
Isn't it incredible?
And it's just, they look for us.
Murnane's let us build the whole float in their garage. They cleared a garage at Murnane's.
That's a big garage.
Yeah, and we've had our float there for
a 48-footer.
4 days. And
Really?
they've been more in they even lifted the K up for us.
Oh, that's a good thing,
Yeah,
too.
we don't know how we're going to get up.
I know Jim's big and strong, but
You got some muscles, Gordy?
But it was a hot day.
well, the only thing that would have taken longer is if you had to glue roses all over this thing.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Really?
Now thanks.
You wonder how those people make those fabulous floats in those
I
parades,
know
don't
it. Unbelievable.
Hey, we don't do roses, but we do all this other stuff.
you? Well, you know,
All kinds of things.
it's an awful lot of fun, and a salute to you and your wonderful float, and we'll give you the good Zappo and hope for a first prize here today.
That would be nice.
See you later, ladies
Okay.
and gentlemen.
Have fun.
Have a wonderful parade and a great 4th of July weekend.
Thank you.
See you
Stay
later.
cool.
We'll try.
Donated.
I love it. Wait a minute. Is this called the Band-Aid effect, or what is this?
I'll tell you, I don't know if you are into rap music at all, but there's a guy named Nelly, okay, and he always wears a Band-Aid, and he goes kind of like this, and he puts it on. Hey, baby, hey, yeah, you know, kind of like that, you know?
Make sure you wear your Mayor Dan Band-Aid.
So, we're giving out 300,000 Mayor's Cup Band-Aids, designer Band-Aids, from a company in Plattsburgh that actually makes them.
Come on, in
yep.
Plattsburgh?
Walt Disney, Pocahontas, all those Band-Aids that you buy for your kids. The company in Plattsburgh and Montreal called Cree Technologies donated 300,000 designer ones for the Mayor's Cup. With all of our different sponsors, 16 different sponsors, 18,000 in each sponsor's name. Can you imagine that? And I didn't know they made them here.
We mentioned a few minutes ago, as we're preparing for this wonderful 2003 Independence Day parade in the city of Plattsburgh,
Right.
that the Mayor's Cup follows close behind. And
Oh, yeah.
it's going gung-ho, isn't it?
Well, you know, I think, honestly, this is going to be the highest attendance Mayor's Cup we've ever had. And I think it's because of the diversity of the music. There's something for everybody again, but even with bigger names. You know, I mean, from classical with Suvin Kim, going right up to the opening act for the Dave Matthews Band this year is Robert Randolph and the Family Band. And
I know you had a little fun with that.
Oh, yeah, I had a little fun with that, but unfortunately, so many people think that Dave Matthews is coming here, but he's not coming here. It's actually Robert Randolph. But we hope Dave kind of trots along with him for a couple. Here, we're going to put one on, make you look like Nelly here. There we go. There we go, Gordy.
If that'll stick to the sweat, then I'll have about 1,500 of those babies. In case anybody in our viewing audience might be misled, this is Plattsburgh Mayor Dan Stewart. We do have a lot of fun. There are serious
Oh, yeah.
things in life,
Oh,
but
yeah.
today's a day to have a lot of fun.
It really is. The next week is. You know, I took a few days off this week earlier just to get ready for the next 12 or so days because it's just going to be banging them out one after another. All the great events, all the fun that we're going to have. And as you always report in all your shows about the distinct way in which the people of the North Country come together on so many issues, including our Mayor's Cup. You know, so it's really good. It's nice to have it expanded out to 7 days, and it's really a wonderful time.
We talked to Bruce Carlin a few minutes ago, and when we started, we talked to Bruce first. He's excited.
Oh, yeah.
He said things look bigger and better.
Yeah.
We say that every year. Sometimes we actually mean it, but this year it is bigger and better.
It is. And, you know, I didn't know where I was supposed to go on the parade today, but Bruce told me to give out Band-Aids. So that's what I'm going to do. This is my partner, John, and he's going to drive.
Everybody's got
I'm
a
gonna
job
walk,
to do, right, John?
And I'm going to hand out the stuff. So that's what we have to do, you know. But I'm just really happy about this year's lineup and everything, Gordy. And, you know, with all the other things we have to deal with day to day, it's nice to have that break in the action every year and that 2-week or so period. And then when we get into the county fair, you know, that's another good time.
That's
then Battle of
another
Plattsburgh.
event that's coming up. Battle of Plattsburgh can't be too far behind.
Oh, no, it can't be. It can't be. We have to be careful, though, not to stay in the sun too long like this. We'll have a Band-Aid sunburn, you know?
You don't want that.
I love these
I could run a
Band-Aids.
great experiment.
I love these Band-Aids.
It's a neat idea. And if you thought it up, I'll give you credit.
Well, you know what? I was on the golf course. You know, they say business gets done on the golf course. And Mark Barry had a golf tournament for CDC, hooked me up with this guy to golf with, and I was going to hit him up for a Mayor's Cup donation. And I wanted $3,500. Instead, I got 300,000 Band-Aids. It was worth it. It was really worth it.
They talk about turning over heaven and hell. I don't know what you turned over, but you got him here.
It was hilarious. I mean, and I still want the $3,500, but
of course.
You know, it was just hilarious. And this guy, you know, he just said, "I run Cree Technologies. I'll do something for you." So I think it's another way in which companies that don't usually donate to these events, if they have some product they want to donate that we can give away to our citizens, they should do it. Advertise what they are so we know what's happening in our own backyard.
It's very important for people to know that, and I'm so happy with a lot of the little businesses that people never hear about.
Yeah.
We have a visitor, a niece from West Virginia, who graduated from Plattsburgh State in 1968.
Right.
Back visiting this week. Where did I take her first? Around the former base.
Right.
To show her the changes, all the new businesses, the various things that are happening. The housing.
What a different
There's
world it
wonderful
is.
housing community there. Driving through, seeing kids playing on their lawns.
I just went into Select Group yesterday and looked at one, and we're going to go back. We might buy one. You know, it's at that point right now where, I've lived in an apartment for years, and it's kind of about time to maybe step it up and maybe next year get into one and see what we can do. But
it's really nice.
Yeah, but there's 316 units out there, but that's just the beginning of it because all the duplexes on the Oval have been sold for $1.6 million.
Think about it. Think about it, folks. 1.6.
44 condos going in the ROTC building, and one condo on the Zukowski property just sold for $377,000.
You gotta be kidding.
I mean, we don't have many houses in the city of Plattsburgh going for $377,000, and this condo went for that. And they're going to knock down the O Club and put up 3 other buildings for rental condos, and people are going to get to see the lake. They're going to get to, it's really become part of the community. The fences are down. It's filtered back in.
So strange, because the more things change, the more they stay the same. I came to work here in the 1950s to pour cement for the O Club and a lot of those other buildings, and we used to come in from that Hamilton Street side, and now I do it again.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a very sad day for me when the O Club comes down, because I got to tell you, I've had a lot of good times.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did too. I had to quit drinking, though. I had too good a time. But, I had some great times there.
Weren't they?
Well, you know Ralph Hensel, right?
Oh, of course.
All right, Clinton County Airport Manager. He was my commander in the Air Force. A lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He took me to a couple testimonial dinners over there, which is where I learned all that stuff. I got to get out of the way for this ambulance. Okay.
See you later.
All right, be good, Gordy.
See ya. Have fun. I don't know where the story with Ralph Hensel was going, but our viewers probably know. Our viewers probably know that the Clinton County Airport will be moving out to the flight line on former Plattsburgh Air Force Base before we know it, in a few years. Look at the candy. Look at the candy. I would love to be able to give out candy. One for me, one for you. Yeah, I know.
Major expense.
But you can't spare any horses. That's why you spent so much money for that shirt, right, John?
Especially when the help eats all your candy.
I noticed that. They're really getting into it there.
This is Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. Good smile. That's a winning smile.
This is Joey.
Joey. Hi, Joey.
And this is Connor. They all play hockey in the Cougar Youth Hockey Organization, and we're not allowed to throw candy from a vehicle, which is a wise move by the city, which I support. So I enlisted these 3 youngsters to do the candy throwing, and they're going to be on their rollerblades.
That's a great idea.
Yep.
How many 4th of July parades can you recall? Calvin and I were remembering. Of course, he's covered hundreds and hundreds more than I have. But
I remember mostly the Rouse's Point 4th
me
of July
too.
parade,
That
which
was the first one I ever saw in the North
which
Country.
not necessarily is on the 4th. This year it's on the 6th, in fact. But if I wasn't involved, and I have been involved in the political circles since 1967, as a tax collector and legislator, and now the county clerk, but I did participate in parades all those years, or most of those years, or if I wasn't running, I always invited some county candidate or official to ride with me, and which was nice, so they could get a little exposure.
The minute we walked up to the back of the car, and I said to Calvin, if it comes from Garceau's, it can't be all bad, right?
That's right. I think they advertised with you. That's right. Yeah, Rick was very. He had a Corvette picked out for us, but
really?
We decided on the Chrysler.
Oh, really? It's
Well, the
Corvette would have been good for
It
the
would have been
for the-
nice, but it had Indianapolis 500 and all
yeah.
stripes all over it, and we didn't think that was.
I'd have known that I would have taken it. Corvette for
I hope
second
you,
best.
I hope you don't get this sweat, Calvin, but it's very hot here, people. It's over 90 degrees.
That's why we're keeping
and
here.
we're right in the sun.
We like to watch John sweat.
And I would rather be on the lake with my wife on my new party boat. But
I don't think
my
we're
wife
gonna-
is not very happy today.
I understand that. I'm glad Calvin's camera wasn't there when she said, "You are. Come on, John."
Well, I think it's a responsibility that I have as a county candidate to do this. And so far, there's a couple more weeks remaining, but I'm fortunate at this point to be unopposed. But still, I like to participate in the parades. I think this is the 4th or 5th one I've done already this year.
Really?
And there's another one Sunday, and of course there's always, actually Sunday, there are 2 of them. There's one in Line Mountain as well. And in the fall, there's a couple, Moores and Peru, and so there's plenty of parades to get seen at.
That's amazing.
And to see your constituents.
And a few church suppers, maybe.
Well, they didn't start yet, but my goodness,
when they do,
they will
Calvin
start.
and I were talking about
They
that.
will start. I can remember back in '95, with my first run at the county clerk's office. I attended 4 harvest dinners in one day, and I started with a breakfast on Cumberland Head, and from there it was, just keep going and keep eating. I'd have a piece of pie at one, and maybe have a drink at another one, but there were 4 dinners and a breakfast.
People might say, "How many pieces of apple pie can you eat?" Just give me a fork and get out of my way.
Well, if you want to know my opinion as to which one is best, see me privately, and I will tell you. I attended all of them many times.
I love it, John. Thanks so much.
Yeah, great to
This
see
is
you
one
guys.
day we won't
Yeah.
say no sweat.
That's correct.
Because it's a good
Yeah,
day to
good
sweat,
to
but
see
it's
you.
a great day to be alive.
I didn't. Calvin was the first person I saw when I entered the area. He was at the one of the gates, and
He got your
he's working
$3,
today.
right?
Yeah, he got my
He
$2.
collected $12 before I ever got here. John, have a great
Good
day.
to see you.
Enjoy it. Have a good 4th
Calvin,
weekend.
sorry I missed you at the ball game in Montreal.
See
We
you
were both
later.
there, but I never noticed him.
I love it. Man, I got a little shade and I got a nice breeze. I think I'm going to stay here for the next 45 minutes. See a picture of this little girl and take a look at the tires. They're taller than she is.
Yeah.
I love it. I know you're Chris. What's your last name?
Cool.
Where are you from?
Shazy.
Delighted to have you here today. What are we looking at?
This is called a PLS. This is what we used to haul our ammunition around. The unit's got a big hydraulic arm on it, and this flat rack here, you can put it right on the ground.
Oh, no kidding.
We loaded it up. We'll have like 3-4 of these. We can have it at like an ammunition site or whatever, and load it up with our ammunition. And the truck backs up to it. It's got a big hook on it. It hooks onto the rack, and it'll lift the whole rack right onto the truck, and they can take away. And while the truck's gone, we can be loading the next flat rack. And he'll unload the one that's already loaded, come back, get another one, and bring it back, and We got a couple crews, one will unload it and one will load it up. And it's a pretty nice machine.
So what unit are you connected with?
The 962nd Ordnance out of Plattsburgh.
How long you been with them?
I've been with the 962nd for about 9 years now.
Are you hot? It's so hot.
With my daughter, Michaela.
Oh, she's beautiful, but it's kind of warm for anybody to be standing around today. So you got a Humvee in the front there, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'll be driving
Oh,
today.
you're going to drive the Humvee, huh?
Yeah, got the doors off so we can have a little...
Oh, get a little side breeze
little
coming
air,
through there. That's wonderful. Well, it's a great day for America, and the 4th of July always means a lot to me. I know it does to you, too.
Yeah, sure does.
Have a great day. Thanks for talking with
You
us.
too.
Boy, it's wonderful to be with a family that has a lot to celebrate on the 4th of July 2003, and here's the reason. In the newspaper, you're everywhere. What's your name?
Max Leduc.
Glad to see you. What was that, today's paper or yesterday's paper? Today, I thought. And your name is?
Leslie Leduc.
And you looked like you were just so glad to be real close in there for that shot. When did you get back?
I got back to the United States May 26th, and I came back here for the 27th, 28th last month.
It's always good to be home, right?
It's kind of good to come back every once in a while.
It is, especially when we see that missing in action, MIA, prisoner of war flag flying, and know that Angela Florence, who's championed that cause for so many years, will be at the front of the parade with Clyde Lewis. Yeah, it's always good to come back. When you shipped over there, what were your feelings?
I didn't know what I was going into. I just knew where I was going. I knew why I was going there, but we're uninformed or underinformed. I know I was just going there to sit there for a while. I didn't know how long I was going to be there, so it was just, I was kind of anxious to get there, anxious to get home. Looking forward to whatever they're going to throw me into.
So what was it like when you got there? Where did you serve?
Sir, I served landed in Kuwait. I served the Marine Corps. I was in Bridge Company. We followed right behind the grunts up through Iraq. When I got there, it was hot. That was it. It was hot and it was nothing.
It's crazy, huh? We watched it over here, of course, thanks to the media the way it is now. You see almost everything, especially when they have these reporters who are riding on the back of vehicles and stuff. It's an exposure to war that we never saw before. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm one of those people that likes to be informed. I don't think I saw you on camera at any time, though.
No, I stayed behind the cameras. I was with Graham Raymond from Manhattan. That was a reporter. He rode in the same vehicle as I did.
Really?
I stayed with him by his side, but I stayed out the news.
Now, is he a newspaper reporter?
Yes, he is.
He is? For a newspaper in
He
New
writes
York?
for News Daily, I believe.
Oh, the Daily News, huh? All right. I'm not familiar with the name. Are you, Calvin? Well, that was interesting. Did he ride with you in your vehicle or not?
Yes, he did. He rode in the back of a Humvee with me and a few others from the headquarters.
Did you expect to come home sooner than you did, or?
No, I thought it would be a little bit longer. I was expecting about August.
Well, for some people, as you know, it is a lot longer.
It felt longer. The days went by. Of course, we didn't have a calendar, so
yeah,
that helped.
Well, it's an interesting experience for a young guy, one that you wouldn't want to repeat too many times. But how much longer are you in for?
I have a little over a year left. I'm going to serve it out. I'm going to get out, honorable discharge, and move on.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much for talking with us, both of you. I know they're camera shy, but I have to talk to them. Isn't it fantastic to have them back home?
Yep.
I mean, wow. If I was watching television wondering which of our guys was over there to see if I knew anybody, I know you guys must have been glued right to the tube.
We watched as much as we could, yeah.
Were you scared at any time?
Yes.
Saying a few prayers for your kid?
Oh yeah, a lot of prayers, a lot of tears.
Yeah. It's, the sad part is of course for the guys and gals that didn't make it back. Even though we didn't lose too many, it's tragic for me to turn on the radio or television set today and see, 5 or 6 or 7 in a week, and British soldiers losing their lives. I don't know where it's going to end.
No, hope it ends soon.
Yeah. Hey, you're peeling. You must have got a good little sunburn there.
Working outside.
So it's good to have your kid back. Is this your only son?
No, I have an older son, Travis, and I have 2 daughters.
That's wonderful. Neither one in the service? None of
No. This is the only one. I hope no more.
So where did you get to see him first? Where did you meet him?
Home.
Oh, home?
Yeah.
He surprised us.
He's surprised. Yeah.
Come on, you didn't know he was coming?
No, we knew he was coming, but we didn't know when.
Oh.
He called us from Albany saying that he was on his way from North Carolina. And then, 3 hours later, he's home.
Yeah.
Walking in the door. He
Yes.
probably didn't bother to ring the doorbell.
No.
Nobody does.
So that was a happy moment, huh?
Yes, it is. It's the first time he saw his new nephew.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What's the nephew's name?
Isaac.
Isaac. Oh, what a terrific name. Listen, that's great. It's so wonderful to talk to you people. I know you didn't want to, but I appreciate it. And I think of all people to talk to on the 4th of July, 2003, you're the best. Have a great weekend and have a great life. See you later.
Thank you.
We did have to jog a little bit to get to the front of the parade. Former Mayor John Ionelli, Angela Florence, and Clyde Lewis. This is the way it begins. Independence Day Parade. Salute to the red, white, and blue on July 4th, 2003. I wonder if those people know how far they have to walk. You know how I feel about the bagpipes. Here they are.
We should rush to the end of the parade and see if he's still running like that.
Yeah. He's going to need a Band-Aid himself, I think, at the other end. Well, the parade is finally underway. I like the idea that we had of going around and interviewing a few of the people and checking out some of the floats before the parade began. It'll be a long parade because there are a lot of different units. Not that many actual floats. Never heard of them. But there certainly are a lot of fire trucks and different fire apparatus involved in today's parade. We're delighted to wave at all these people that we talk about throughout the year. And it's nice to have them display their people and their equipment. We have some pretty well-equipped and well-manned and womaned fire departments here in the North Country. Pretty neat, huh?
This guy looks a few pounds lighter, but just like I did about 3 minutes ago.
Oh boy.
We were in the middle of the Leduc conversation, and the clock
All
went
of a
by
sudden you
past
realize-
5, and I said, uh-oh.
So we jogged to the front of the parade. We should have left the camera going the whole time.
Yeah,
Neither one of us fell down, and that's pretty good, I think. Rescue hose number 5, which, in case our viewers may not be aware, is now housed in the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base fire station on the old base. They've been such a staunch part of the North Country mutual aid system for many, many years. I think we're going to eat a little fumes here today. Did you notice that?
The air's kind of quiet where we are, not much wind, and there's a van that almost ran us over. We would have made it if it wasn't for that Press Republican van. It wouldn't let us through. He's going to run us over.
Oh boy. See, I watched them making those handprints. That's kind of neat. We did that for Victims Day earlier in 2002, last year. We had a lot of victims of various crimes put their handprints without names on a board, which we put in downtown Plattsburgh. It was kind of neat. It was fun to listen to them organizing the Plattsburgh Pal football team. get them all ready today, and so they're having fun. They look like a tough bunch.
I'm
Okay,
still in the sun.
I'm with you. It's fine, just a little bit of shade.
Put your helmets on.
Yeah, there. You're gonna have a Tootsie Roll. Whoops. You need that, right? For a little quick energy.
It'll take me about a week to chew that. Oh, on this sticky day like
I
this.
dropped 100 pounds of candy right in the middle of the road. So many different kinds of things represented that you would never see in a big city parade, and that's what I get a kick out of. From the little businessman to the, the guy who owns a stock car to big corporations. Next in the parade, after a little bit of a gap here.
Now, earlier we mentioned the parades and our coverage. One of the greatest things that happened to me several years ago, quite a few years ago now, was when Silva Mary Marnes from Rouse's Point had some old 8mm films transferred to video, and she asked me to make copies of them, and she allowed me to take the parades off from there, from the 50s and 60s. So there's got to be a lot of other people who are watching this who have old parades, old.
What a great idea!
If they could let us borrow that and
hello,
put it on
how you
video.
doing, Doc? Good to see you.
Put it on video. That would be great. This is a familiar-looking vehicle.
That's the Lozier, 1915. Yeah, wouldn't that be great to get some of that old parade footage? People love that stuff.
Yeah, I've got close to an hour from different sources since then.
You do?
But I know there's a lot more of it out there. And
well, if I can get into my archives, my archives are like your archives. If I could get my footage, and I have a few hundred feet of film from the 1964 Sesquicentennial with Louis Armstrong. She's not really sure that she wants to be here, but she's here, waving the flag rather weakly.
It sounded like more fun back when, I'm sure when Chris mentioned it to her, but
yeah.
She didn't know it was going to be 95 degrees in the shade.
Oh, that is quite a vehicle, huh?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a long walk. To let you know what the parade route is this year, just for those people that may be from out of town, we're starting at the field house on Upper Ruger Street, the college field house.
Gold Star Mother just went by.
Gold Star Mothers, boy, they're not the older Gold Star Mothers their numbers are reducing every year, but what a wonderful group. That's why I say Trinity Park in downtown Plattsburgh is so important. We've seen them dedicate their monument and seen them go through so much down through the years. It's great to have them here today. And now we talk about Blue Stars, don't we? Blue Star parents this year. For those people who serve.
And Blue Star apparently is a long-standing tradition. I was looking, there we go, that's Little Leaguers waving at us. I was looking at a tape that Bob Ben and I did back around D-Day of 94. And he mentioned, thank you.
Good.
He mentioned a poem that they used to read back in the mid 40s, and it's something about the son joining the Marines, and the blue star would soon be turned to gold. And that's a sad thought.
Oh boy, oh boy! And for so many it was. Look at this. Is this a motley crew? This is. Oh, I think that was for your benefit, Calvin.
Yeah, I think it makes me feel a lot safer knowing that they're protecting our shoreline.
That's the rooster. Oh, you can see it right up in the mast in case there was any question in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
We covered the original launching of this rooster, the bateau.
And much like today.
No, not even close.
I was just as wet then as I am today.
Oh, man. We were soaked. It rained so much down at the Plattsburgh City Beach. We've seen this vehicle in action. There's Wolf Mattis. Enjoying the day. Just taking life easy. Yeah, last time we saw that in action, I think we were at a school somewhere in Cumberland Head.
Cumberland Head, right there.
Cumberland Head. They have a water rescue team with their Cumberland Head Volunteer Fire Department. And pretty good sound system here. Salute to the red, white, and blue. See that face? Isn't that clever?
It'll be waterproof paint.
Yeah, I would hope so.
To the left. Take it back now, y'all.
Look at this now. You wonder why the guy had the suit on. Now you know, don't you? Isn't that beautiful?
Cha-cha, real smooth.
They represent a sound service. They better have good sound, huh? It is pretty good sound, too. We've seen this truck in a lot of parades down through the years.
This is, I think, the beginning of the cruisers. Let's move down a little bit. So
All right. Watch your step here.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Free Champlain Valley Cruiser hat.
Oh, you got one. Oh, it's folding in the back.
So's my head.
Camaro.
Let's cross this little
Yeah, watch your step.
step there.
Nice Mustang. Hello, hello. Car 43. See that?
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's even older than my 1980 Cadillac was. Beautiful though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Old Cadillac DeVille. I don't know what year. 1970. There it is, right on the license plate. I bet you that's not a stock color. Do you think so?
I think that one glows in the dark. It's like a 39 or so.
It is, and I had one almost identical to that, but not that color. Mine was factory black, as many of them were. Another nice old Mustang. Happy 4th of July, the kids have written on their faces. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Oh, look at this. How'd you like to be powered by 2 V8s? Aggravation? I bet it does well in Napierville, huh? It's a good old, nice old Pontiac. It's good to see the cars. You wonder if they got the air conditioners really cranked with the windows open. Huh? Oh. Beautiful. Nice Monte Carlo. Got quite a few cars in this parade, surprisingly. How are you? And of all the cars I've owned, I never owned a Mustang, Calvin. Have you?
I own a Mustang too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Ah.
It was just a 4-cylinder, and after 2 years of me cranking through the gears, it was ready to be
just
traded.
didn't make it, huh?
Yeah, nice. It was a silver one, a 1975 Mustang 2.
75? Oh gosh. There's a Cougar. There aren't too many left around.
These vehicles are going through fast here at the beginning of the parade.
Yeah, the old Chrysler, 1966 Chrysler Imperial.
That was the blue one, not with the red one we just looked at.
Ford makes it, Chevy shakes it, it says on the back of that vehicle.
The Continental.
That Continental's nice and quiet, huh?
Yeah.
It's probably not the original paint job either. It's got the old blue and orange plate on it though. How are you? People in their cars, huh? Well, we couldn't wait to get old cars when we were kids and soup them up.
Yeah, but back then you could buy a running car for $50. You can't.
$45 I paid for my first one.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. You can't.
No.
Not that $50 is worth what it was then, but the equivalent of $50 today, you can't buy a running car.
Not really. Even for the demolition derby. Oh boy. Here's the tea kettle. I like that tea kettle.
Yeah, tea bucket.
Should take that up to camp kettle, shouldn't I? Look at that. how smooth it runs. Everything chrome, one end to the other. Look at the tea kettle on the back. Did you see the back of it?
Oh,
Yeah.
the window, yeah.
Yep, got the tea kettle right on it. Got a bunch of Mustangs today. Look at the little puppy dog in this one. Nice American flag on the back. I'm proud of all the people who flew their flags today. That's the Cooper's unique automobile, you know it? Listen to this run, Calvin. It's hard to get them to run smoothly when they're that hot, especially when they're turbocharged.
And you know that car just wants to go.
Oh, yes.
It's like having a thoroughbred under you.
Yeah, you got that right.
Now, we should point out to people, if they come to the parade, don't get where we are here, because it's going by real quick here. So
it does go by
You
real
wanna,
quick. It'll be much slower when the
when
various
they get
groups
downtown.
will be performing. When they get in downtown Plattsburgh, the parade route will head east on Ruger Street, will attach itself to Broad Street, all the way down Broad Street to Margaret Street. We'll make a left on Margaret Street. We'll go past the reviewing stand, no doubt, in the same place. How are you? And then we'll end over on Cornelia Street. But it'll be a couple miles walk, I guess, for most of these people. So I guess you'll hear a popping sound as they break out some cool ones when this parade is over. That's for sure.
And they got to get back after too.
That's true. Well, I was the Grand Marshal of a parade in Peru at the Apple Fest some years back. And I don't mind telling you, it was one of those extremely rainy days. And when I got to the end of the parade route, I said, okay, now what happens? Well, I guess you might guess, I walked all the way back to behind the Peru High School. And I was one drowned rat by the time I got there.
As soon as the parade is over, your reign as Grand Marshal is over. So that was it. They didn't need you anymore.
Oh, that was the end of it, yeah. Did I hear somewhere there weren't going to be any sirens?
No, that's in Rouse's Point.
Oh, in Rouse's Point. Oh, okay.
And in Moore's Forks.
Yeah, in Moore's Forks. It's pretty good music going on here today. Oh, that's a nice breeze going through here right now. Yeah, they got the good speakers on there. I hope they got them wired on good. Don't you love the new tires? They're so thin. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a color for you, Calvin. I don't know what color you would call that, but it's very nice. They got enough vehicles with the Big Apple logo.
Well, they got a lot of the classic cruiser members, so that really links in the parade.
There's the boys from next door to my house. I saw them out there polishing. A couple of the guys in our department, I don't know if I told you, bought old fire trucks just for fun. You can buy them on the internet.
Oh yeah.
$4,500, $5,000. Completely operated fire trucks from the 1970s. And they drive them around for fun. It's kind of interesting. How are you? They all take great pride in their equipment. The fire department, volunteer fire department in Clinton County and in many other counties in America are the focal point for a lot of social activities. You know, the people get to know each other there and have their parties there, and when it's time to get serious, they fight fires. We've had a lot of time interviewing, a lot of good times interviewing firemen. We did a series of 2 programs fairly recently with the Plattsburgh City Fire Department, learning a lot about the history and visiting the stations, including the old station. That was fun, wasn't it?
It sure was, and you know, we had a good tour guide with young Mr. Bichard.
Yeah. More and more people are being trained on bicycles. We watched them practicing climbing steps and going down steps on their mountain bikes. That was kind of interesting. Mooresville Ambulance Service, which has been celebrating into their second decade of service. It's fun to go back and check the history and learn that.
I thought Bruce Carlin said each department was asked to bring only a couple vehicles.
That's what I heard.
Mooresville brought the whole thing.
They brought everybody.
They emptied out the building.
Yeah. It's the commercial Hummer, 139 PL. This is the crew. Oh, he's going to get on him. Watch this. Wait a minute. Oh, he was about to hurt himself. Oh. It's hard to keep in step when you're trying to jump up on those things.
There we go.
He's on it.
He's
okay.
on it. Here he goes.
I'm glad he didn't put a uniform on. That could have been a little shaky if he played Uncle Sam, huh? Hello. You too. God bless America. Cool. Told you. Humvees and garbage trucks, boy. But look at this. It's pretty classy equipment. All spiffed up for the day. Normally, this parade takes what? About 40 minutes, right?
Yeah, when we're downtown, 40, 45 minutes, something like that, yeah.
And I'm not sure how long it'll take up here, but I'm glad we started on this end to see what it's like when they're forming in the parking lot, especially on a 4th of July where it's just about 90 degrees. Thank you very much.
Wait, now why'd she give you that?
I think there's a message in here somewhere. That's Ellen's fault, I know it is. I love it. Maybe I'll take it home and eat it instead of supper. That'd be the only way I'll lose any weight today, I'll tell you. I think I've lost about 5 pounds just standing out here today. Ask me if I'm soaking wet. I'll never forget Zerlo trying to keep the sweat out of his eyes standing there. Oh, here's a cute figure on the back of this float.
There's somebody in there, Gordy, and they gotta be dying.
Can you imagine what it's like? You talk to any of these people who are in these character suits in the summertime. You want to be right in the middle of the winter out on the ice somewhere for some hockey team and not in the summertime. That's got to be awful. Some of them even have a little fan that blows in your face up in the nose of the character somewhere. You got a nice big flag on the back of that one anyway. That makes sense to call it the Yellow Submarine, right?
Yeah.
Blue 105.
Yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We are
rather small contingent for Howard Dean. He's doing well on the internet, though.
It's his entire...
That's it.
That's it. They all showed up today. Of course, our friends at Channel 5 and Channel 3 seem to be outdoing themselves as campaign managers for him.
Yeah.
Every time he turns around, it's #1 news.
Yep. Well, it's kind of phenomenal because in the beginning, not very many people gave him very much of a chance, but he didn't even like the internet before his campaign began. That's the best part of it. I'd love to talk to him about that sometime, but he does now. He's raised a huge amount of money, and it's kind of phenomenal.
This looks like fun.
No, just for about a foot and a half.
This is my idea of fun right here.
3 steps would be fun today with those black uniforms.
Get the old long sleeves on, the heavy woolens here.
My. So let's hope we don't lose anybody. I've been to a few parades where they kind of fade out, you know, and keel over from the heat.
Well, we get to look at them when they're fresh here.
Yeah, right in the very beginning. We've seen some parades where they really jammed them together as if they were in a hurry to get through. At least they're separating them by a little bit here to give the crowd extra enjoyment. It's amazing how many people are actually along the parade route up here. A few families, folks that we know. At least they got way more shade than they do standing out in Margaret Street with no shade over their heads. This has got to be better.
Well,
oh boy, I need that so bad.
To keep the child in.
I need it so
Notice you
bad.
didn't give me one?
Oh well, I wonder why.
That's a Democrat for us.
Yeah.
I want to know why the Democrats didn't give me a.
John, how are you, buddy?
I want to know why the Democrats didn't give me a lollipop, John. They gave Gordy one and not me. Well, there's no, I can't.
See you later, John. John Gallagher.
Dave Donut.
CBI Industries, as you know, an integral part of the Advocacy and Resource Center here in the North Country. We've done 2 or 3 programs with them over the years.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm getting all my loot here. I'm going to have to start stuffing stuff in my pocket.
You're going to hold the camera, and I'm going to get the loot here.
You just don't look like you have a free hand, Calvin, that's all. Can you imagine what that candy's going to look like in my pocket when I get home? Nice truck. I got some nice flowers in the back of that one. Remember the bikes that the Shriners used to have that went up and down and all over the road?
Well, they still got them.
They still got them?
I'll see some of those in Malone tomorrow.
Got their little clown cars, and those bikes have got to be 100 years old by now. Hello. Hello. I wonder if Glenn Olds drives an Olds.
He is distantly related to the family.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I was just kidding. I didn't know that.
Now is the time for us to come together as a nation.
You think they wouldn't have a Chrysler, they'd have an Olds.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
what I said, yeah.
For the rescue workers, for law enforcement officials, for every one of us that has been changed forever.
Oh, here we go. Here comes our hockey buddies here.
Oh, yeah.
The determination of the American people.
No,
I got
you.
some, thanks.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
Anyway. They look tired already.
Yeah, they didn't go very well. They're going around in circles, that's why. I haven't had my skates out this summer. I got to do it.
Smile for the camera here.
Yeah, he's going to take your picture. Yeah, I think you ought to. We've been framed before.
That's his son. That's his son, John III, driving.
Oh, yes.
That's this skating club of the Adirondacks.
Yep.
Where's their skates?
No skates.
It's the walking club of the Adirondacks today.
I bet they're glad to be moving after sitting for an hour and a half in that hot parking lot. With the heat from the tarmac just radiating back. First Baptist Church, 125th anniversary. I didn't realize that. Quite a history. That's kind of a pretty float. They did a good job on their covered wagon. We know him. It's very nice. Brand new Chevy Silverado. Decent looking car though.
That cow needs milking, I think.
Yeah, you think so? I think so. Overdue. You ever try to ride one of these unicycles?
No.
I tried once.
No.
I would have needed the mayor's Band-Aids back then.
You think Calci drew this champion here?
Probably not, but it's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at the nose. I love it. And the feet.
You can look at his toenails. John Lennon.
Beautiful little Sheltie. You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
They're supposed to be famous Americans with mental illness. I didn't think John Lennon was an American.
No, I didn't either. But that's all right. We have poetic license.
I see. I wonder.
Come here, dear. You can't mess with that all the way down the Kate Street.
I don't know about all those names. I'm not going to argue with them.
No.
Boy Scouts.
Yep. They're beautiful. Ooh, lots of red, white, and blue here.
Hi, Mom. This one of us looks like his mother.
Uh-oh. Big trouble.
He's in big trouble.
Send him for the eye care to the Adirondack. Hello, how are you? He's got a little siren on it too. Comes District 3. That's not a real dog on the front. How are you? Give it a shot. No.
Step away from me if you want a shot.
That wouldn't be good for the camera, would it?
No.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good for the camera. Oh, every now and again, there's a nice breeze coming through here. This is the 4th of July parade. The year is 2003. It's a beautifully hot summer day. I would have to, several of the people walking this parade would qualify the beautiful part. But it's good to see you too. How are you? Great. These are people in the Champlain Valley Amateur Radio Club. He's got his air conditioning on, so he rolled the window back up. We used to spend a lot of time talking with these people when they'd run their coffee breaks, you remember, along the Northway way back when?
Yep.
And we would, in times of disasters, we'd be contacting them in the year of the Great Alaskan Earthquake. We worked through ham radio operators to find out what the news was on Alaska.
They were busy during the ice storm too.
How are you? Good to see you guys. Looking good. Gary Silver there, who worked at fire control for years, probably still does, although I'm not positive of that.
Folks from Time Link.
Yeah.
This one's just about able to make the corner.
Just barely got around between the curbs here. Because it's 40 to 45 feet long. These are the people we talked to before, as you know, from the Plattsburgh Kiwanis Club.
There's Special K.
Special K, yep. Listen.
Off the zoo band.
I'll tell you something, boy. That's wonderful. Somebody Somebody else found a little shade here. Beep beep. Look at this little tiny motorized vehicle. That is tiny. Oh, I'm getting a nice breeze again. That's wonderful. I bet you it'll be nice and cool here about 10 o'clock tonight, Cal.
Yeah, we'll have to come back.
Yeah.
ATV Club, I think it was the Outback, I think it said.
The Outback ATV Club. That's turned into a real phenomenon. It was three-wheelers, of course now it's four-wheelers. And there are trails throughout the entire North Country. Probably as many or more four-wheelers as there are snowmobiles these days. Great. Beekman Town Volunteer Fire Department. Public Education Award winner. Beekman Town, they do the mock accidents before prom night. You were up there this year, right?
Sure was.
This is a good one. Oh, that's pretty good. I love it. How are you? Doing great. I don't know what that sound is in the back end. Maybe it's a safety feature. CVPH Medical Center. I'm gonna get some country music pretty soon. I can hear it. How are you?
Okay, I'll zoom in on you.
Make us look good.
See the license plate on the back of the car?
That's toy.
Yeah, that's toy. Careful, ladies.
Still with the CVPH here.
Yep. Look at the little one here in the wagon. Saying, just pour some water on my head. What a beautiful child. For the vehicle.
Come on, everybody, it is time to dance to the music I am playing, the message I'm conveying, 'cause everything is flowing from
Ryan's Irish Dance Troupe. Oh, look at the note she handled me. Ryan's Irish Dance Troupe will perform at the Mayor's Cup Wednesday, July 9th, 6:15 to 7:15 at Trinity Park Stage. If you need more information on the troupe, call Kathy Ryan. I love it. Oh, they're dancing. They are dancing.
I caught them last year at a performance at Shazy's.
Yeah.
Do a nice job.
Great. Good people.
And if we fail to mention any group that's going by, don't get mad at us. We're not being deliberate. We're just in the middle of a conversation, and all of a sudden somebody comes through, and so I hope people don't take it personal.
Every now and again we get lucky and somebody will hand us a complete list of the parade participants. But as Bruce Garland said, they're kind of adding a few at the last minute this year. Hello. Some more warm outfits for a hot summer day, that's for sure. There's an awful lot of reenacting going on these days, and it's great fun. It's a good way to bring history to life. Some of these people make their own uniforms.
I was a reenactor in my youth. I played Roy Rogers, Gene Autry.
Yeah. Look at this. USS Saratoga. Great sound.
Yeah. Hey, I think we've seen the parade.
I think that's the end of it, huh?
Yeah, there's this University Police trying to find out what all those people were doing in this parking lot.
You think so,
He's
huh?
going to follow them, give them all a ticket.
Well, I think I may have been right because it's in real time. It's 17 minutes before 6, Calvin.
Well,
so it's about a 45-minute parade.
Yep, and by taping it here, people get to see it sooner this way, Gordy.
Oh, you think so?
Well, sure, yeah, well.
In 4 weeks instead of 5, you mean?
Right.
I got to say, this is a very interesting and satisfying, gratifying perspective to see the 4th of July Parade 2003. Calvin had the idea that we would meet at the Plattsburgh State Fieldhouse on Ruger Street for the 4th of July Parade 2003 and walk around, see some of the people, watch John Zerlo sweat, and just have a great time listening to music and seeing people enjoy the 4th of July for another year. We thank you all for watching Hometown Cable. We thank Calvin especially for doing this for over 20 years. And Lord willing, and if the creek doesn't rise, we'll be doing it for a long time to come. And who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.